Linneman here, the Green Executive, and today we're going to go ahead and get today's webinar started with Luke Trukin. Luke is the CEO of Landscape SEO, and Luke is going to talk today about the 5 essential marketing strategies to crush your 2025 goals. I'm going to go ahead and turn it over to Luke. Luke, thanks for joining.
What's going on, Adam? Thank you so much for having us, and thank you to the whole Green Executive team for making this webinar happen. Super appreciative for all of you guys. As Adam said, my name is Luke Trukin, CEO of Landscape SEO, and we specialize in green industry marketing. And so Adam asked me to put together a presentation for helping you guys get ready for the 2025 season. And so today's presentation is the 5 marketing strategies to crush your 2025 goals. All right, so here's my promise to you. I'm going to show you how to get strangers to buy lawn and landscape services from you today. I want to be clear. These strategies actually work. These are not just theories. These are proven methods that I have used to grow my own home service business and strategies we have employed on the behalf of many of our clients to help them grow their home service businesses. All right, so I started out just like you. 15 in a dream. I think it was really 14 in a dream of buying my first car. It was way more money than my parents wanted to spend. I lived in the city, and so they were like, there's no way you're buying this truck. It's obnoxious. If you want it, you can buy it. And I think they said that thinking that like that was going to be the end of it. Well, I had my eyes set on an F350 1996 body style. If you know, you know. And fast forward, that dream turned into a full business, and we were mowing 553 lawns a week with 20 employees. And so that business grew off of the back of really great marketing, whether it was through attracting the right clients and or attracting the right employees. I learned a lot from that business. All right, so
Luke,
go ahead.
Luke, was that a Murray riding lawnmower?
That was a Murray riding lawnmower.
That is awesome. That's awesome. I love that picture.
That Murray mower was a heck of a machine. It got me through probably the first 2 seasons. Let me tell you what, I swapped the pulleys out. This thing only was for getting around the 3-4 blocks. And I swapped the pulley out, and this thing was going like 10 plus mile an hour. And so as you can imagine, this thing was not made for 10 plus mile an hour. It was a little sketchy at times. But man, I that thing has, anytime I see a Murray mower, it's not very often, it brings me back to the good old days.
Love it.
Yeah, it was a good time. All right, so as many of you know, there's been a gold rush in the green industry over the last 4 to 5 years. And so how do you be the best known landscaper, lawn care company, fertilization weed control company, hardscaper in your market when there are more companies than ever out there winning and trying to compete for business, and there seems like there's fewer and fewer jobs to go around? You don't want to be the guy pushing the ball up the hill. There's so much noise in this market. It can feel like you're working so hard, but you're really not going anywhere, or you're not moving as fast as you would like. So with all that being said, is it okay if I show you these strategies? And I'm guessing if you're still on this call by this point, the answer is going to be yes. And if you are here, just drop a yes in the chat, and let's just see what kind of comments we've got here. Drop a yes down in the chat. Let's go. All right, we got the yeses coming in. So let's go ahead and move on to this next part. So before we move into the 5 different strategies, we have to understand what marketing is and the different stages that people go through when they're looking to hire your service. And so at the top of the funnel is really the awareness stage. And at the very bottom of the funnel is the purchase stage. And so if we're going to do this right, we have to be catering to people where they're at. And the problem with most people's marketing is that they start right here in the purchase stage. And all they're trying to do is get people to say yes and buy their service, but they're missing out of the awareness stage and all these other stages down here in the middle. And the problem that happens is that people fall into the top of the hopper and then they end up falling out through a hole or something that's broken in your marketing system, and they don't actually make it out the bottom at the purchase stage. And so we're going to be talking about those different stages and how you can help nurture people along the way to make you the best option to buy a service in your market. All right, so there are two types of people in this room today. There are those that are going to be taking notes, being proactive, and there are those that are going to stick their head in the sand and say, Luke, I'm a great landscaper, I'm a great hardscaper, but you know what? At the end of the day, this is not for me. I just want to be great at the craft, and I don't want to learn all this technical stuff. And as much as I appreciate that, I was once in your shoes back in the day. We really have to take our marketing by the horns and have a grasp and an understanding of it before we can help or you can seek somebody to outsource it. So I'm hoping that this is going to give you at least a baseline knowledge once you're done with this presentation. All right, so you can be the best landscaper, but if nobody knows you, they can't flow you, as Grant Cardone likes to say. In other words, they're not going to do business with you because they don't know you exist. And so I don't know about you. If you would drop a comment down in the chat, just say, I agree, or I've been there. If you've ever been frustrated with the fact that a competitor who has poor quality service, terrible customer service, terrible product, their image is but they're the ones winning the jobs and you're not. If you've ever experienced that, I know I have, it can be really frustrating, but the problem is that they're the ones that are known and you're not. And so this presentation is going to help you with that. All right, strategy 1, build a good website. Welcome to the 21st century. There are so many companies today, and if this is you, I'm sorry, I'm not purposefully calling you out, but there are so many companies today that are still living on a 2001 website, a website that does not function properly, or even better yet, you don't even have a website. In today's day and age, the internet is everything. Everybody researches everything on the internet before they do anything. And so if you are missing out on a website, you're going to be missing out on a big opportunity in winning new business. All right, so don't be this guy. You can see this website on the left. This website was made for a desktop. I love how your website is impossible to read on my smartphone. This is so many websites that we see. This obviously was taken from my phone. It was just a screenshot from my phone. You can see it's very hard to read any of the context that is on this page. And it's because this website was actually built for a desktop, not for a smartphone. Your website should be built for both platforms.
I cannot believe, Luke, that people are still, having websites to where they're not mobile friendly. Unbelievable.
Every single market that we research has a ton of websites like this. And so it's great if you are on this call, props to you, because you are going to be able to have the ability to stand out from everybody else in your market. So thinking about that last image and the smartphone user versus the desktop user, think about the mobile user. As you can see here, this is a graph talking about the stats of people that are using a smartphone to do their research. And you can see here in 2015, it was only 30%. And as we go on, as we come up to today, it is almost 60% of users are searching the web on a mobile device. And so this is critically important to think about when you're building a website, when you're looking at your website. Is it mobile friendly? Because if you're building it for a desktop and you're not thinking about the phone and you're not thinking about how that is being, portrayed to your end consumer, you're missing out on 60% of the market. That being said, you obviously don't want to be missing out on the desktop user as well, because there's still 40% of traffic going to a desktop. So we really need to have the balance between a great looking website on a desktop and a great looking website on a smartphone. As you can see, this is that same website on a desktop. It looks a lot better on the laptop version than it does on the smartphone version, because this website was built for the desktop. All right, so how should your site look? These are two of our clients. You can see bold calls to action, making it easy for somebody to communicate with you, having a click to call button that follows you around the site, making it super easy and simple for people to get in touch with you. The fonts, everything are mobile friendly. You don't have to zoom in. Everything preloads to the phone correctly. That is what you ultimately want on your website, whether it's a desktop or a mobile version. I'm going to go back here really quick and just say that having a chat feature, if you don't have a chat feature on your site, having a chat feature is a great way today to get more interactions out of your website. So if you're getting poor conversions, something like that, one, we need to look at what are the call to actions, and two, we need to look at, are you giving people enough chances to easily communicate with you? You should only be 1 to 2 clicks away from being able to contact you. If you're making them go to multiple pages to find your contact information, you're making it really hard and ultimately a bad user experience, and people are just going to leave and call somebody else. All right, strategy number 2. And there's a reason that I started with the website, because it is the fundamental, is the baseline of all of your marketing. Everything else comes back to the website. So strategy number 2 is SEO, search engine optimization. Has anybody ever heard of SEO? If you're in the chat, drop SEO in the chat if you know what SEO is, or at least if you have heard of SEO. Yeah, we got some SEOs in the chat. Let's go. All right, so don't let your website be a digital postcard. This is what most people's sites are. They don't know you exist because you don't rank anywhere. You might rank for your company name, but that's it. And so really what your website is it's a place for people to check up on you, make sure you're a legitimate company, but it's not actually being proactive. It's not being a salesperson that's working for you 24/7. And so I like this meme. I thought this was pretty funny. You're not doing SEO or PPC. Even I won't be able to find you. I thought that was pretty funny. So why do some sites rank and some sites don't? As you can see here, this is one of our clients. And it's because of these top 7 fundamentals that most people are missing. And so there's a lot of different things that go into ranking. A lot of marketing agencies like to make it super complicated, try to pull the wool over your eyes. We like to break it down, and it really is pretty simple if you get these top 7 things correct. So number 1 is keyword research. We don't want to rank for everything. If you are a landscape service providing landscape services to homeowners, you don't want to rank for mulch or some of the things that are more related to the purchase of the mulch or the product itself. You want to be ranking for the service related to that. And so it's important to do your keyword research and figure out specifically what your clientele is searching for in your market and ranking for those specific things. One of the things that drives me nuts about my industry, the marketing agency services and stuff like that, is that a lot of times people will send reports and all this different stuff, and it might look super fancy, but they might have you ranked for stuff that isn't even relevant to what you do. And so having the right keyword research, ranking for the things that people are actually searching for in your market that's going to produce sales is step number 1. Step number 2 is we're going to take the keywords that we've pre-planned, figured out what people are searching for, and we're going to build our site structure around those keywords, meaning that we're going to have a separate page for lawn care versus fertilization weed control. We're going to have a separate page for landscaping instead of having landscaping on your lawn care page. We're going to build the site structure around the different services that you provide, and each service needs to have, in most cases, its own page. Then we're going to build the technical optimization, and that's basically figuring out the keywords, all the different keywords that are going to go on that page, so you can, add lawn care service, lawn care company, lawn care near me. All of that stuff can go on one specific page. You're just not going to want to try to rank lawn care near me with landscaping near me. Those need to be separate pages. And so the technical optimization is getting all of those keywords put into your alt text, your meta descriptions, all of the different things that are going to help that page rank, telling Google what you do and where you service. That is the technical optimization. Number 4 is site speed. Site speed is a very big ranking factor, especially on a mobile device. And it is how well your site loads. If it takes a long time, people are going to leave. And so it creates a bad user experience. And we have to think about Google as what it is. It is giving people, it is a free platform for the user to figure out, to help them solve the answers that they're searching for. And so we have to help Google be the best in our market, giving people the right answers, giving them a great customer experience. And so we have to do that with great site speeds. I don't know about you, but if a site takes longer than 3 seconds to load, you're going to be bouncing out and going to the next site. So site speed is very important. Number 5, backlinks. Backlinks are basically citing your source is probably one of the best ways to describe this. It is getting other people in your area, in your market, to recognize you as a premium provider or a trusted source in your market. So whenever you write a essay or something back in grade school, you had to go and cite your source. Who was the one that gave you this information? It's the same thing in websites. You want people to cite you as the credible source for that information. So we have to write genuine, really good, educational content that other people are going to want to link to. There's other things that along the backlinking side of things like citations, which are kind of like the digital aspect of the yellow pages and stuff like that. You want to go to these different sites that give you a free listing. You want to build all of that information out in there so that, you're building this web of a digital presence. And all of that comes back to backlinking and showing Google that you're a legitimate business. Okay, number 6 kind of falls into number 4, and it's mobile friendliness. We talked about this a little bit with the website. If your website is not mobile friendly, you are not going to rank. And what does that mean? If you have to zoom in on your phone or a tablet to be able to read the content on that page, it is not mobile friendly. And so that's pretty much the main thing, is how easily can somebody navigate your website on a mobile device? And I want to give you a free tool going back to site speed, because site speed and mobile friendliness are 2 of the biggest ranking factors when it comes to ranking on a smartphone. So if you are on this call, I just want to see in the chat, say free tool. If you want me to give you a free way to check your site speed, put in free tool. All right, sweet. We're getting free tools in the chat. This is free from Google. So all you're going to do is go to a search bar on a web device, on your web browser, and you're just going to type in Google Site Speed Test. And the first thing that comes up, you're going to click on that link. It's from Google. It should be google.com. I think it's sitespeed/google.com or Google/sitespeed, something like that. But just type in Google Site Speed Test, and you're going to get a free tool from Google where you can test your site speed. And so this is going to be a great way for you to go in there, and it'll give you a list of the different things that are not performing properly. So maybe you need to adjust some code. Maybe you need to make something a little bit more mobile friendly. It'll actually give you a rating on there. So check that out. That's a free tool. It's a great way for you to kind of get started to see where you are in the web process. And lastly, it is authority in your market. So we have a client that has taken social media seriously, and they've gone viral in a number of their social media posts, and we've actually seen their rankings go up the more they get following and likes and shares and stuff like that from their other media sources. And so what is happening is that Google is looking at the whole entire process around your web presence. They're not just looking at one specific thing. They're looking at your total marketing plan, your total web presence, and that is a ranking factor. And so the more you are liked and shared and interacted with on social media platforms, the more you're going to rank or outrank your competitors in your market.
Luke,
Okay.
real quick.
Yeah.
Back to number 2, I think it was site structure. You know, one of the things that I do so you built, you know this, but in case anybody doesn't, you built our lighting website, stlouisoutdoorlighting.com. And it's often that in my city of 12,000 people, small town, of a whole county of only 50,000 people, that, I don't know, maybe 5% or so, 10% of our leads actually comes from like a local sale site or a yard sale site or something like that. People will go in there and ask, you know, who does holiday lighting, right?
Yep.
I don't think there's hardly any other companies in my area that has a website, and if they do, it's definitely not a great website at all. And so I'm very proud to be able to go to my website and go to the holiday lighting section of it, copy that link, and post it right into the Facebook group.
Yeah,
I mean, it just stands out. It's just awesome.
It does. It does, and you know, it goes back to the user experience in that there's a dedicated page talking about holiday lighting versus up lighting, down lighting, security lighting, accent lighting, you know, landscape lighting, all the different types of landscape lighting that there are, whether it's holiday lighting or landscape lighting related. You've got a dedicated page talking about that specific thing. And so the problem that most people run into is that they build a website and they build one service page and they list all of their services on one page. And the problem is that it's in today's world, you used to be able to do that when there wasn't as much competition. But in today's world, there's not enough, there's not a big enough ability for Google to really understand what you do and how you do it and who you service with only one page. And so if you're looking at your service pages on your website today and you have one page that's a service page and it lists all of your services on there and that's it, that's going to be a big win for you if you can actually break out a separate page for each individual service. And we like to take it one step further. And so obviously Adam's site is dedicated to landscape lighting, but if we were to build the site for him that was all encompassing landscaping, lawn care services, holiday lighting, landscape lighting, all that kind of stuff, we would have sub breakdowns. And so we would have a subcategory for lawn care. We would have all the services sub lawn care listed there. So if there was lawn mowing, we would have a page for mowing. If there was fertilization weed control, we would have a page for fertilization weed control. Then there would be a sub breakdown for landscaping and all of the services that fall under landscaping. Then there would be a sub breakdown for hardscape. There would be a sub breakdown for lighting. Right. And so that's the big way that you can win in most markets today is actually breaking out all of your services. That was a great point, and I appreciate you bringing me back to that. All right, so yeah.
Well, one more thing I was just thinking about was, and that may be the total opposite from a website to something like an EDDM postcard, right?
Yes.
I mean, you don't want to just like send out a postcard that says just aeration only in the front and the back of the postcard is blank. Would it not make sense to at least list a few other services that you offer to?
100%. 100%. And, you know, in today's world of technology, people do their research. And so talk about your process, talk about your pricing, talk about the way that you do service is different than the way that your competitors do service, because people are going to do that research. And if your competitor is giving out all of that information and you're not, they are going to be the trusted service in the market. And so a lot of times I get pushback from clients or prospects for us that's like, man, Luke, I don't want to give away the secret sauce. Look, I'm sorry to say this, but in today's world of technology, what you're doing, somebody else in the world's probably already doing it too. You know what I'm saying? Like let's tell the clientele how great you are, and so that they can see that before they even call you. It's going to make your sales cycle so much better and easier and faster if you're giving away all of that information on your site versus not, and you're trying to explain all of that stuff over the phone. So
Love it.
yeah, it's
Thanks, Luke.
that's a good point. Okay. I just wanted to show you really quickly what some of this looks like. So this is the home page. Each page should have a specific target. So you can see unmatched lawn care and landscaping services in Belmore, New York, and all of Nassau County. So you can see this page is specifically targeting the lawn care, specifically sub breakdown is landscape services, but we're specifically targeting Belmore, New York. The problem that most people have here is that they just put unmatched lawn care and landscape services, or they put #1 lawn care landscape ranked service, or #1 rated or whatever, and they're not telling Google where they service. And so we actually have to sprinkle in the areas that we service on our sites. So this is another breakdown. This is kind of what we were talking about. This is how I would structure the service breakdown. So you can see lawn maintenance is here. All of the things that kind of fall under their lawn maintenance package is underneath lawn maintenance. There's a mother page talking about these subservices, just a little blip, and then a link to each page. And then you can actually go to these individual pages and read all of the information about those specific services. Same thing for lawn care. Lawn care usually falls under the fertilization weed control side of things. So that's how we broke that down: landscaping, snow removal, hardscaping, excavation, sprinkler service. You can see how we've kind of broke this down. So if your website doesn't look like this and you're not ranking for all of the different services that you provide, this is the first thing that I would go and look at. And are you telling Google or giving Google enough information to understand where you do your service and what you do and how you do it and who you service? Okay, have a page for every city. This is the next big problem, is that Google doesn't understand all of the areas that you provide. And again, you can't just list all of the cities on one page that says service areas and list out the list of service areas that you provide and expect to rank in all of those different cities. And so you need to have a page talking about the services you provide in that specific city. All right, how to rank in the maps. This is a little bit of a different strategy, but it goes hand in hand with the regular organic SEO. And so #1 is number of reviews. If you have 1 review and I have 50 reviews, I'm going to outrank you purely because I'm showing Google that we are a better rated, more frequently visited service than you. And so it's really hard to rank somebody no matter how good their SEO is, no matter how good their website is, if you have 0 reviews. So reviews is a very big needle mover when it comes to ranking in the maps. Outside of ranking in the maps specifically, let me ask you the question. If you're going to Amazon, if you take your hat off as a business owner and you put on your consumer hat, if you're going to Amazon and you're looking at a product and you're searching for, best shooters, and you're looking through Amazon, looking at these different shovels, you're probably going to go down the list and find the product that has the most reviews. And so it doesn't matter how high up you are in the maps. If you have 1 review, or if you're rated at 4.1 and your competitor has, 150 reviews and he's 4.9, people are most likely going to be going with the company with the higher reviews. And so it's important, not only from a ranking perspective, but also from the persuasion of getting somebody to call you, to have higher reviews and more reviews. All right, so the other thing is you can actually build your products and services out. I don't know why this is ringing, because I put do not disturb on. Okay, so #2 is products and services. And so you can actually build your products and services out inside your map listing. Most people don't actually know that this is a thing, but when you go into the back end of your profile, right up at the top, it says products and services. And so you actually want to build out your products and services the same way you've built your products and services on your website. So if you've built a separate page for lawn care, built a separate page for landscaping, all of those should be different products and services listed on your map listing. And you can actually paste a link. And so if you've actually gone through and built the different pages, you can link those products and services to that specific page on your website. So you want everything to be congruent. All right, number 3 is your address. If you have an address in the heart of the city, you're going to outrank somebody that has an address on the outskirts of the city. And so where your location is does matter. Now, with these top 2 things, if you do these top 2 things better than your competitors, you can outrank somebody with a better address than you. But address does come into play. And with that being said, if you don't have an address listed and your competitor does have an address listed, there's a good chance they're going to outrank you, because we have to think about the maps for what it is. The maps were really created for businesses that have a physical location that people can go to. And so we have to think about that, and that Google is going to prioritize addresses that are closer to the searcher's location. And so your address does matter. Number 4, number of photos. Again, going back to Google likes when you interact, when you participate with their platforms. So if you have 0 photos on your map listing and your competitor has 150 photos on their map listing, you're probably not going to be able to compete with them as well. And so this is really easy, actually, because you can download the Google My Business or Google Business Places app on your smartphone, and you can actually take pictures in the field and upload them directly to your listing. So consistently be adding photos to your listing. And number 5, similar to the website, you need to get citations and links to your map. And the great thing is that you can do citations and links pretty easily, because you can actually list your map on your website in the different areas. And so you can embed a map embed code to different pages that make sense on your website, and that's going to help build your links to the map listing. Okay, before I move on, any questions related to the maps? Anybody have any questions here? Or are we good to move on? You can type in the chat, move on. If you're good here, if you have any questions, just go ahead and unmute yourself. Just gonna give you a couple seconds here. I think we are good to move on. Okay, cool. So you guys are all good here. So if you don't have a Google My Business or Google Business Places listing, this is the place for you to go. So I actually gave you the QR code here. If you don't have one, or if you're watching this on replay, you can actually stop this, or go right now and pull your phone out and scan this QR code, and it will take you to the exact place you need to go to create this Google Business Places listing. And again, just so we're talking about the same thing, it is this piece right here. This is what we're talking about, is this map listing that is most of the time at the top of search results when we come to stuff that you're searching for. All right, strategy number 3 is Google Ads. If you have run Google Ads in the past, I want to just see Google Ads in the chat. This is where we start getting some tensions high with people. Google Ads can be a touchy subject. Some people think they're great. Most people think they're terrible. And so I'm hopefully going to give you some strategies today that are going to make Google Ads not quite as bad. And so we got to understand what they are really quickly. And so this is Google Ads. It is typically the very first thing you see on a web search. Google Guarantee is a form of Google Ads. It is the one that I would recommend you start with if you can get in there. And then pay-per-click is below. And so the thing that I love about local service ads is that it's a pay-per-lead platform. Unlike Angie's Leads or some of those other Home Advisor, the BBB, some of those other platforms, they're not shared leads. These are your leads. The only caveat to this is to be able to be eligible for local service ads or Google Guarantee, as they're also known, you do have to be fully licensed. You do have to be fully insured. You have to pass a background check. And so if you're on this call or listening to this call and you can't pass or don't have the licensing, unfortunately, you're not going to be able to run those ads. That being said, this is a great platform for you if you can make those things happen, because it automatically cuts down on some of the noise, because it makes sure that you're a legitimate business. And so the great thing is that all the calls are recorded, and Google only charges you for legitimate leads versus taking your money for eyeballs to your page. And so that's really what pay-per-click is. The downside to local service versus pay-per-click is that, as you can see here, this is for Christmas light installation. With the local service ads, there's not a whole lot of customization you can do in the local service ad platform. So if you're wanting to specifically target individual service, like say drainage, you're not going to be able to do that with local service. You're going to be more of a broader marketing plan than if you're going to go really narrow and really deep on one specific thing. So if you're saying, Luke, I want to push drainage services this winter or this fall, then I would actually steer you towards pay-per-click marketing, because as you can see in this example, there are custom callouts, there's custom extensions. You can send them to a dedicated page in pay-per-click, unlike local service ads. And so I hope that makes sense. And if you have any questions on it, now would be the time to unmute yourself related to Google Ads. So just unmute yourself if you've got any questions around this, but I'm just going to keep trucking here. So this is an example. So with pay-per-click, you want to use a dedicated landing page. This is not the home page of the website. This is not a service page of the website. We build out custom landing pages for our clients that are running pay-per-click that are specifically targeting what that ad is. So if we're targeting, in this case, patios, we're going to have patios be the landing page. We're not going to be targeting pergolas. We're not going to be targeting hardscaping. We're going to be specifically building a page talking about your next patio project. And any ads, any offers, as you can see, we have done a great job of adding in social proof. So this client is A+ with Angie's Lead, their Google guarantee verified, they're A+ with the Better Business Bureau, and they're 5-star rated. So we put all this stuff up here to help with the social proof, showing people that this is a legitimate service. Keeping the phone number up here, we're adding in easy request a quote options. We're adding in before and afters of their projects. We're making bold statements with the offer. So this page has been optimized specifically for pay-per-click. And it's a little bit of a hot take, but we have found to remove the main navigation options, not letting people go anywhere else in your site, usually gives you a better conversion, because people aren't getting lost on different pages and stuff like that. So on landing pages for pay-per-click, we remove all the other options and we leave them specifically on that page. All right, strategy number 4 is Facebook and Nextdoor. And there's a reason that I've lumped both of these together, because they're a very similar platform in the way that we run ads. And so I just want to see, this is usually the hottest take. When I talk to people, most people are very much Facebook works or Facebook sucks. And there's no in between. It's one or the other. And so hopefully by the end of this segment, you're going to have a better understanding of why Facebook works for some people and why it doesn't work for others. Starting with Nextdoor, I love Nextdoor because we can be very specific in the targeting that we do, almost cutting it down to specific neighborhoods. And so Nextdoor is still a very utilized platform, especially in communities with HOAs and stuff like that. And so if you are already doing a lot of work in a specific subdivision, this is a great way to help you build route density. And so you got to go in, create a profile, and then you can go in the back end and create ads. And the way that you create ads for Nextdoor is very similar as the way you set up ads for Facebook. All right, so this is the main thing that I see when people tell me, Luke, Facebook ads don't work. Going back to the top of the funnel and the bottom of the funnel is my very first slide. The problem is that we're asking strangers on Facebook to buy our service today. And most people are just running out there, and it's the same equivalent to door knocking, peddling on the street. That's what you're doing with your Facebook ads 9 times out of 10. And so the way that we like to run Facebook ads is we actually start with engagement, more of a, hey, my name's Luke, owner of Luke's Landscape and Maintenance. Here we are, here's what we do. You know, it's just a soft, hi, welcome to the neighborhood. We exist. type of an ad. And so we put that out there, a little bit more of a broad targeting. And then we take that same audience that has interacted and or seen that ad, and then we start doing more awareness. And so this could be something like, here's the top 5 things you should know before installing your holiday lighting or installing your backyard patio. And so we're helping on the education. We're bringing them back to, hey, we are a trusted service provider in your market. And then lastly, to those people that have seen our engagement and then our awareness, we're then running a dedicated specific ad to them. The problem is that most people start with the 10% off and trying to get or generate leads. And you're really just going to a bunch of cold traffic and hoping to get some low hanging fruit. And you're dissatisfied when people go, I don't know how'd you get my contact information? I don't know how and the problem is that we're doing too much too quickly. And so if you've struggled with Facebook ads in the past, use this strategy, starting with engagement, moving to awareness, and then finally targeting those same people with a lead ad. And so you want to do the same thing on Nextdoor. Go ahead.
And awareness is going to be education, right?
Yes.
Any type of education, whether it be reminding your clients to be watering their lawn because it hasn't rained in 3 weeks like it has here in St. Louis.
Yes.
Right. Or
exactly.
Your followers or whatever.
Exactly. Talking about, here's the number one mistake most people make when hiring their next, patio installer or hardscape contractor, landscaper, or, whatever it may be, talking about a specific project. So, hey guys, I just want to walk you through a finished project here in McKinney, Texas. We're in Stonebridge Ranch. This is what it takes to build a patio today. Walking them through the different steps or whatever. Even putting a price tag. I know a lot of people don't like to put price tags on their content, but at the same time, you're telling me, Luke, these people are expecting a Lamborghini on a Honda Civic price. Well, you've never told them how much a patio costs. And so how are they going to know what is the difference between a Lamborghini and a Honda if you're not explaining that? And so awareness is a great way to do that. And what you do is you just run a few dollars a day behind that ad. And then later on, you're going to take that and you're going to build an audience around that you're going to run a special offer to. So any questions on this? Because this is where a lot of people get stuck and where I see most mistakes happen when it comes to social media advertising. Any questions here specifically? David in the chat said, Google Ads, bad experience, LOL. Yeah, so it's the similar thing with pay-per-click, is that if you're not careful and you don't know what you're doing with pay-per-click, you can spend a lot of money really quickly. And so that's why I love to show people local service ads, because at the end of the day, you can actually see the leads that you've been charged for versus pay-per-click. There's more tracking, there's more individual pieces that you have to put together. And I would either buy a course that specifically teaches you how to run pay-per-click advertising, or hire an agency when it comes to that, because it will pay for itself when it comes to pay-per-click. But if you're watching this and you want to get some quick wins, you want to take and learn and run what we're talking about today, go to another internet browser and just type in local service ads, click on the top link, and you're going to be able to go through that process, setting those up. And you can do that on your own. You don't need an agency to run local service ads. It's very straightforward. And you can start running Google Ads today, and you can actually see what you're paying for when you are billed. So it's a really great way to kind of get your feet wet in the pay-per-click Google ad arena. Okay, strategy 5, organic posting. And so going back to, people are doing their research when they're looking for a service. We have to think about our consumers, customers, clients, prospects, whoever they are, as who they are. One strategy, or one thing that I love to do with my employees is that I love to run them through about once a month the scenario of putting themselves in the shoes of our clients. And so if you're not doing this, this is a great technique to kind of calibrate yourself in the mindset of your prospects. And what I would do is I would close your eyes and think about I am building my backyard project, and think about what your customer, your client, your prospect is going through when they're going through that process. And so for most people, they're not going to build 100 backyards. They're going to save up a lot of money for a long period of time sometimes and do this project once in their life, or maybe only a few times in their life. And so people are going to do the research before they hire a contractor. And if you haven't posted on social media in 3 years, a lot of times people are going to question if you're still in business. And so
Right.
organic posting can be a super complicated, might be super daunting. It might be, dude, I don't know what to post today. And so I'm going to give you a couple of strategies to help with this, because if you do all of the other things correctly, but you haven't posted in 3 or 4 years, you're going to discount your brand, because people again are going to go, well, how come it's been 2 years since this person's posted? Or how come the last time they posted was January and now we're in October, almost November? And so here's what I like to do. Before I play this, here's what I like to do or like to see from people's social media. It does not have to be super complicated. If you don't want to put your face on screen because you might feel awkward, that's okay. This is a friend of mine, Chase Gallagher, runs CMG Landscape, and I would follow him. I would go find him on Instagram, find him on Facebook, and follow him so you can see what good content, social media, organic posting could look like. So if you're awkward on camera, like most people are, because it's not something that you're just used to doing right away, it's going to take some time to get used to being on camera, talking to a phone. That's okay. Do it like this, like Chase does sometimes, and he's behind the camera and he's just narrating the process. And so I'm going to play this just so that you can kind of see what winning content looks like online. It does not have to be complicated.
This front walkway, we removed all the shrubs, the overgrown shrubs around the front and side of this house, installed a Techo block paver walkway. The team is installing this beautiful border edge, kind of rounding off, framing the front. Black mulch, all this was overgrown, and so now we kind of cleaned this up, graded it, seeded and strawed. And coming over here to the ravine, we installed all new trees going along the outside of the ravine. Team wrapped up this front walkway.
And so that's what winning content looks like. Super simple, does not have to be complicated. This is another great way to build social proof, and it's super easy. It's just done with your smartphone.
Installing 2 patios for Abby. Abby, how was your experience working with my team and I?
Oh, it was great. They were here early and actually stayed late, got everything done within actually quite quick timing for what I was seeing them do. They were clean, they were tidy. They did an awesome job. Highly recommend.
Thank you, Abby.
So you can see that's not overproduced. It's literally just pulling out your smartphone. Hey, will you just say a few words about your experience working with us today? Boom. Now you've got social media content that you can be posting that's not super complicated, that you can do on your own. You don't have to pay somebody. People ask me all the time, they're like, Luke, will you post to our social media platforms? The answer in most cases is no. I do not have all the information to be able to make a post like this on your social media. Like, I can't go to your jobs for you and take videos and take pictures and all that kind of stuff. This is something we have to learn how to do as business owners. And you can delegate this out after the fact, but if you don't know how to do it or know the strategy or the process, it's going to be harder to get somebody else to do it if you don't understand. So I would start with you and then delegate this out after the fact. And so I hope this was kind of an idea, a little breakdown of what you can do to make your social media posts better. One thing that we will do if you were to hire us is we will post blogs for you. We'll post, snippets of a blog or something like that, but that's only happening once or twice a month max. And so you want to be posting as frequently as possible in between those different pieces. Okay.
Real quick.
Yes.
One more question. First of all, I love Chase and I love his big smile. I always smile whenever I see him smile. Second of all, on the first video that you shared, that's great to show the consumers that are willing to buy. That's great to show the consumers that are wanting to buy, what you're doing, what you're going to be doing. That is also great to take this video and send it to your team members to show them or tell them what they need to do.
Yes.
There is, and I don't know if you heard of this before, but there is a website / app out there. It's called Vidyard, Vidyard, and record doing this. You can send this video via a link to your prospect, and you actually get an email whenever they view it.
Nice.
You'll know whenever they view it, and it's actually there's a free version of it, and it works great. So all I can
That's
say
awesome.
is that do this. The more you do it, the easier it is. Also,
The more you do it, the easier it is. And if you follow us on any of our social media platforms, we do some social media platforms better than others, but we do post and are active on all social media platforms. But I would say of all the social media platforms we're on, TikTok is the one that we do the best on. And any one of the videos that you've seen on my TikTok channel have been taken probably 5 times to get to what they are, the finished product that they are. So it's okay to not get it right the first time and to have to reshoot it or something like that. But practice does make perfect. The more you do it, the more comfortable you'll be. We do have a comment here in the chat. Do you need permission from the customers to post the video like this? And so, I like to think it varies for state to state, but in most scenarios, if you're asking the client, hey, will you give me a testimonial really quick, that they know you're going to be using it. I always like to throw it in there really quickly. Just say, hey, is it cool if we shoot a really quick piece for my social media or whatever? When it comes to you taking pictures and posting it of the project itself, totally reasonable, totally fine. You will run into a customer every now and then that says, hey, please don't post my project or content. If you really want to protect yourself and make sure that you've checked all of the dots and crossed all of your T's, then include a social media content piece in your contract. So when you're sending through the proposal, have a piece in there that is talking about, hey, we will be taking pictures, we will be using it for our marketing, stuff like that. Make sure that they sign off on that, and you're going to cover your bases, and there's nothing that can happen after that. So if you are stressed about that, personally, I've been doing this for 10 plus years. I have never run into this problem unless a client specifically asks me, Luke, I really don't want to post this content, and I'll respect that. But they tell me that up front, and then we respect that. I've never had anybody come back and say, hey, please remove this or take this down or whatever in the past. So, but if you want to make sure that you're covering your bases, you're worried about that, then just add a little clause or a piece of content in there. I didn't add this in this piece or this presentation specifically, but when you are doing stuff with your employees, sometimes they can come back to you later on and say, hey, I don't want to be on your social media. I don't want to be in this video or whatever. I would add a social media clause to your hiring agreements in your company structure, your handbooks, that kind of stuff. And that's going to be able to prevent them from coming back later and saying, hey, please remove me from your social media and content, because you don't want to go through and create all this rocking awesome content and then have somebody leave your business and then they pull all that content down with them when they leave. So I would 100% add it to your handbook, make sure that they sign off on it and understand that you will be shooting content, they will be in the content, and that the content will be staying up if they were to leave. It just is what it is when it comes to business. So
good point.
Just my 2 cents, but great question. Okay. But wait, there's more. I can't talk about the 5 different strategies of marketing without touching on the secondary piece, because it's one thing to have, a great looking website. It's a great thing to have great ads, great thing to have great posts. But if your leads don't take the next step, getting the leads is only the first step. If you can't get people to go to the next step and actually making a buying decision, then what's the point? And so, yeah, if you can't convert them, what's the point? Shut up and take my money. That is ultimately what we want from these prospects that are going to be going through our funnel. And so this is the next piece that I see most people struggle with when we're looking into the people, our clients or prospects, or just, different people out that are looking for help on their marketing. This is one of the pieces that we have to look at. And it is what happens after somebody raises their hand and says, hey, I'm interested in your service. And so speed to lead is very, very important. And so your 400% less likely, there's a 400% decrease in odds of qualifying a prospect if you contact them 10 minutes after they submit a form, they call you, whatever. So if you wait 10 minutes to call somebody back, or you wait 10 minutes to call a lead that comes through a form fill or a Facebook lead form or whatever, you are 400% less likely to connect with them or qualify them than if you were to call them in the first 5 minutes. And so I don't know about you, put Facebook in the chat if you've ever had somebody from Facebook or social media or an ad or whatever that has, you've called them and they've said, who are you? How did you get my information? Did you why in that, they're just confused when you contact them. They're like, who are you again? It's because you waited too long. They've completely forgotten. Life happens. There's so many different moving pieces in our world today. It is what I like to call the TikTokification of our society. People are just so bombarded with scrolling and going on to the next thing. Yeah, that's happened before. Yeah. So, I know I've experienced it. I know I hear it when we audit our client stuff before. And it's the TikTokification. If anybody knows, there was a study done by, I forget, one of the big publications. And does anybody know what the attention span is of a goldfish? Anybody know? Anybody want to drop it in the chat? Attention span of a goldfish. Adam knows the answer to this, so Adam's disqualified from putting this into the chat. But yep, no. Okay, so the attention span of a goldfish is about 11 seconds. Does anybody want to know what the attention span of a human is in today's world? Anybody got a guess? The average attention span is like probably less, 9.6 seconds. And so if we are not quick to jumping on a lead, jumping on a service, different platforms do have different odds of qualifying and a little bit of different terms, but on average, if you're waiting 10 minutes or more, you're 400% less likely to be able to qualify them. With that being said, most people are one and dones. They contact somebody one time, they get their voicemail, they maybe not leave a voicemail, and then that is the end of the road. They don't end up calling anybody back. They don't do anything else after that. And statistically, this has been proven that the more times you contact somebody, you are more likely to eventually get in touch with them. So you are 90% more likely to connect and make contact with somebody on the 6th point of contact than you are on the 1st. And so how do we do this and not be spammy? It's all the different ways listed here. So we want to make a phone call. We want to leave a voicemail. We want to send a text message. We want to send an email. We want to leave a video selfie. Like if you're out in the field working on something, just say, hey, John, this is Luke. I saw your form fill come in. I'm here on a job today. Wanted to connect. Super excited that you took the first step in reaching out. Looking forward to connecting with you. If you take a video like that and send that to every prospect that comes in, I guarantee you will be in the top 0.5% in your market. Nobody else is doing this. I did a live presentation on something similar to this about a month and a half ago, and it was a room of 50 people. And when I asked this, only one person out of 50 people in the room was doing this. And he said this was the #1 game changer in helping him close more jobs in his market, was sending a selfie video to every prospect and lead that came in, because it makes you a human, makes you credible. It makes you real.
Stand out.
Yeah, it makes you stand out. Nobody else is doing this in the contractor space. And so if you do this one thing about sending a selfie video to all the prospects that come in, I guarantee you your quality of lead is going to go up. So we want to do this. And, if we can build automation into this, we would love to do that to make your life easier. There's a lot of CRMs out there today that you can build automations in. So if you're watching this, and I know we need to wrap this up, take a screenshot of this, build this into it, copy this into your notes so that you can paste this and make this simpler in your life. But This could be a simple message. Hey, Brian, it's Luke over at Luke's Landscaping. I see that you filled out a quick Facebook form to discuss your next project. Do you have some ideas about what you're looking for? That could be your text number one. Send a voicemail. Hey, Brian, it's Luke over at Landscape SEO or Luke's Landscaping. I'm returning your call about a consultation you requested online. I'll be in the office for a while here. Give me a call or send me a message or send me a text. You can do this automated. You just obviously are going to be leaving out the person's name. Just say, hey, it's Luke over here, Luke's Landscaping. Saw you filled out, a request or whatever. You can do that automated, or you can do this individually. But I would leave a voicemail every single time. Send an email. Hey, Brian, it's Luke over at Luke's Landscaping. I understand that landscaping your home can be challenging, but we make it effortless and hassle-free. Tell me about your next project. Send a selfie video, as I talked about. Hey, Brian, it's Luke over at Luke's Landscaping. I wanted to put a face to the name. I know getting work done on your home can be a pain. We make it simple and easy. When's the best time to get connected? And then if there's a way that you can do any automation with AI, with a chatbot or something like that, if you have simpler services like lawn care, AI can really actually help you a lot with booking. If you're complex things like hardscaping or landscaping, landscape lighting, some things that are very custom, you're not going to be able to build an AI around that. But some of the things like pest control, fertilization, weed control, irrigation services, the similar things every single time, similar pricing, you can actually build a chatbot that is going to help book people automatically. All right, so that's our presentation today. I wanted to open this up really quickly for any last minute comments, last minute questions. So if you have a question, go ahead and drop it in the chat, or unmute yourself and ask it. So there is one here. Do you mean ringless voicemails? Yes, ringless voicemails and traditional voicemails. It surprises me how many times when people call a prospect back, they ring, goes to voicemail, and then they hang up the phone. Leave a voicemail for the prospect, whether that's manually, whether that's through a ringless voicemail. There's a lot of technology today that, like I said, you can automate that. So you're recording a voicemail one time, and then you can automate that for you. But if you're doing it manually or you're doing it automated, always leave a voicemail. Great question.
Luke, if our listeners are not utilizing AI or researching AI now and or in the very, very near future, they're going to be behind the eight ball. They're going to be so far behind, and I believe that it's going to become more and more difficult to get leads, to sell jobs, and so on. AI is great for these types of things, help out so much. It's something that I've been reluctant to learn over the last few years, and now seeing the benefit. It's actually one of the reasons why I sent you a message the other day and asked you, hey, would you talk to my company, my team members at Linneman, the benefits of AI and what it can do for you. So I just want to stress that.
Yeah, there's so much.
Don't put that off.
We could do a whole presentation dedicated to AI specifically. And if you're watching this, listening to this, and would like to have a presentation on AI, we can record that session that we do for Adam's team and send that to you. Adam can get that over to you if that's something that you're interested in. But just to give you some examples, some practical ways that you can use AI. So we have a phone service that gives you a transcript. And so when we are talking to our clients or our prospects, we get a transcript of the call. And so what we do is we'll throw that into AI and say, give me the bullet points from this conversation and the next steps that we need to do in bullet points, and actionable steps. And it will go through and it'll analyze the transcript and it'll put out next steps. It'll give you things that you didn't think about. That's a very simple, basic way that you can use it. You could be doing that with your clients. Take this transcript and listen to all the things the client was asking for and put that bullet points down. Think about it. You have a transcript like that. Now you can show up to the consultation from that initial phone call with the bullet points that somebody is looking for, and you can show up prepared and say, hey, look, so on this last call, you talked about this or that or this. And they're going to be like, wow, how did you know that? You can use it to analyze contracts. You can use it in your marketing. We use AI every single day. We could spend, like you said, an hour talking about how to utilize AI in your business today. But if you're not using it, as Adam said, you're 100% going to be left behind, because AI is not going to replace jobs necessarily, but it's going to make people that are using it 10 times faster, smarter, and more quick on their toes to get things done. And so the good news is that our industry is typically a very slow industry to adapt to new technology. And so if you are quick to jumping on this, it's going to help set you up and stand out that much more than from your competition. So again, I just wanted to say a huge shout out and thank you to Adam and the whole team at the Green Executive for putting this together. Thank you to everybody who tuned in today to watch this presentation. If you have any specific questions, you can always drop me a note at luke@landscapeseo.com. Find us on all the different social media platforms. We're Landscape SEO on Facebook, YouTube, TikTok, and Instagram. We are actually under our podcast, which is The Green Dream. And always you can go to the website and check out what we've got going on over there. So with all that being said, I'm going to pass it back over to Adam.
Luke, thank you so very much. I really appreciate the time to do this, and also to put this on for our listeners and followers. So thank you again, everyone. This is Adam Linneman here, the Green Executive, and we have Luke here from Landscape SEO. If you need any help growing your business, don't hesitate to reach out to either one of us. We're happy to have a conversation. Until next time, take care, everyone, and we'll talk to you later. Bye-bye.